Okay, so as you are ready today, you can start by lying down on your back and just taking a huge stretch, reaching your arms up over your head, reaching your legs far away, and just getting some nice traction in your spine. Ooh, Kelly, ouch, that's never fun. Yeah, I know. Definitely take it easy. Maybe we'll throw some self-massage in later in class. That might feel extra good. Yeah, 2 thumbs up on that part of the body today. So just enjoying this nice stretch on your mat with your arms up overhead. You can take some intuitive movement here if you'd like, maybe reaching on a bit of a diagonal, left arm away from the right leg, right arm away from the left leg, and just kind of seeing what feels best for you. Just getting as much space in the spine as possible before we start class today. Yeah, I see some people have moved their legs a bit wider apart into like a giant X. Get nice and wide on your mat. Beautiful. And then we're going to bring the knees into the chest. Give a little squeeze. Just feel that nice compression in the front of the hip sockets. So don't squeeze so hard that you feel anything pinchy or ouchy, but just so you feel a nice pressure through the front of the hips. And you can kind of experiment. Do you like that feeling when the knees are taken a little bit wider or a little bit narrower? What feels the very best for you? Awesome. And then we're going to keep one knee into the chest. Let's all bring our hands to the right leg, and the left leg can go long. It can rest on the mat. You want to really press through the front of that thigh. So you might feel a big stretch, not only in the hip that you're pulling in, but in the opposite leg as well. And then that leg that's straight on the mat can point the toes, lift up, and then flex to press down, really engaging your abs here as well. So lift up and down. Perfect. Point on the lift, flex on the lower. That's it, you guys. Really good. You'll feel, I would encourage you to slow this down a little bit because you'll feel as your leg kind of drops through the different levels, different sensations are going to come into your stretch at different places. Yeah, beautiful. We'll all do that one more time. And then we'll take a second, hug both knees in and just feel the difference between the two sides. And then we'll go ahead and switch it out. So now you hug, I believe it's going to be the left leg for everybody, and the right leg will go long. And you'll take a moment just to experience this stretch. Really nice. And then that leg that's straight on the mat, hey Lessa, welcome, will lengthen to lift, point up, and flex down. Nice. And if for whatever reason that lifting and lowering is not vibing with you today, it's no worries. You can always just leave that leg down in your stretch. I say this all the time, but I'll just say it again because it's always worth repeating. If you come to an exercise today or in any of our classes that doesn't agree with you, you can either leave it out, modify it, take a rest, anything you need to do to take good care of your body. Perfect. One more lift. You're going to bring that knee into the chest, give it a nice squeeze. Really good. And then we're going to keep the knees in close to the chest. So I want you to pull the knees in as hard as you comfortably can so they come very close to the shoulders. Now I'm going to challenge you to leave your knees exactly there as your arms come by your side. You're going to feel it's a little bit tricky. The knees might want to bounce away a little bit, so the abs have to turn on to pull the knees close. Option to lift the head here, and then you're going to start to pump the arms for the 100, keeping the knees close to the chest. We've got nose to knees to nose. Back of the spine is super long. We're really using the abs to curl our knees towards our chest. Good. Now, if you're looking for more challenge today, I want you to keep the arms pumping. This is a little coordination challenge. The legs can press out and pull back in as the arms pump. It's kind of like tapping your head and rubbing your belly. So if you want to try that, good luck. Yes, good. We're all on our own counts here. So we're just going to 10 deep breaths. So if you've been counting, you'll just pull your knees in and rest on your 10th exhale. If you haven't been counting, no worries. Just take about 3 more deep breaths. Yeah, really nice, everyone. When you're done, just give your knees another little squeeze, let your head rest and relax. And then just take any intuitive movement here. So hands are going to stay on the shins, but you could let the legs go wide in circles. You could rock side to side. You could kind of press out one knee and then the other. Anything that's going to feel good for you. Yeah, nice. I see some hip stretches. Love it. So just kind of moving through your legs and your lower body in whatever way would feel good. Great. And then everybody can bring their knees in one more time. Lift your head up. And then this is optional, but if you're feeling pretty good today, I'm going to have you start to rock and roll in place, forward and back to roll up to sitting. It'll probably take you a couple to get there. If you're not feeling up to that today, just roll onto your side and sit up. Nice. So we'll all meet sitting. Feet are going to plant on the floor. Hands go behind the thigh bones. Good. So let's take a second here. Find the C curve in your spine. So we've got a little dip of the chin. And we're making sure that our curve is proportional from the top of the head all the way down to the tailbone. So I've been thinking lately, like, if you were to bend like a, I don't know why this is the image that's coming to mind, you guys, but let's just go with it. If you were to bend like a wire coat hanger into the shape of a C, right? So it's got a firmness to it, even with its curve. You would want that to be an even curve all the way through. Yeah, exactly. I don't know why that's the image, but it looks great on you guys. So I think it's resonating somewhere in your bodies. So with this exact wire C curve in place, you're going to lean the body back, let the fingertips come a little bit down the thighs. They might slide slightly. And then you're going to bend your elbows and pull yourself up, but you're still in your wire C curve. So the feet will stay planted the whole time. And we're just going to lean the body back and forth. Good. I'd suggest, Melinda, moving your feet, yeah, a little farther away from you. Otherwise, that journey back uphill is going to be a bit of a rough one. Good. So you could be rolling back 2 or 3 inches, or you could be going all the way down to the mat, depending on what's agreeing with you today. If you do go all the way down, I want you to be able to come back up with maybe moderate effort, but I don't want you to feel like you're super locked up as you make it back up. There shouldn't be like a high effort. And then I just had a little technology glitch. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you can still hear me okay. Yeah, okay, amazing. So let's do 3 more. Just your own pace. And when you're done, you can show me by taking a comfortable forward fold over your legs. So that might look like a butterfly shape, soles of the feet together. It could look like bent knees, or it could look like straight legs. Whatever's going to feel best to just kind of fold the spine forward and let that tension release. And I want you to relax your neck forward without hanging the weight of your head. Often when our neck is tight, that hanging doesn't feel so good. It's too much weight for those delicate little muscles. So keeping that wire C curve idea, we're kind of just folding that whole shape forward now, and the head might get a little traction, but it's not going to sort of fall off the earth. Nice, everyone. Okay, really good. Go ahead and sit up. And then this isn't what I thought we were going to do today, but I think this is going to feel good. So sit in whatever way is most comfortable to you. It could be cross legs, legs straight, whatever you like the best. You could sit on a cushion. I just want to take a little side bend. So the right arm can go to the floor, the left arm can go up by your ear, and you'll just side bend over and stretch. And then you'll switch and do the other side. Nice, everyone. So just back and forth a couple times. This should feel quite lovely. So no need to push this to your deepest stretch. And I'll have everyone kind of just note the placement of their supporting arm. I'm seeing almost universally today, it's wanting to go a little bit behind you. I don't mind that at all, but you might try bringing it a little in front and just see if that changes your stretch in a satisfying way. Yeah, and just kind of go with what you prefer. But in Pilates, we often are working against our nature just to make sure the body has balance. So if we always go to the back, it's good once in a while to go to the front just to change it up. Nice job. Next time we're in the center, you can come to the middle. And let's all take our legs in a butterfly shape. And if this is sensitive for your knees, the feet can be a little farther away from you. So you're in kind of a diamond with the legs. If you feel really comfortable in your knees and hips, you can pull the feet quite close. You want to make sure you have tall posture and that the hips and knees are quite comfortable. We're just going to let the knees kind of bounce up and down a little bit. Let our butterfly take flight. Feel how as the knees do this little bounce, it's almost like you're getting a little air under your wings and you can lift the posture taller. And if this posture is hard for you to feel, just go ahead and sit up on a cushion, pillow, or blanket, or take your feet a bit farther away from you, or both. Good, everyone. And then we're going to pause the bounce, take a big breath, inhale. Exhale, keep a flat back. Pull on your own feet to pull yourself a little forward. Yep. And then check in. How's your flat back doing? And then you're going to sit back up in a flat back. So just that a couple times. Kind of an odd sensation. So often when we fold forward, we're going for maximum range. So we round a lot to get our nose close to our feet or the floor. In the flat back, you're never really going to be able to go as far as you would if you rounded. So it's going to feel limiting, and that's okay. You want to feel tall, strong through your torso. This is a really nice thing to practice, just aligning the spine and moving that strong alignment through space. Really good. Now, on the next time that you are forward, you can pause. Now, I want you to listen carefully. We're going back to that wire coat hanger idea. So you're going to have strength in your spine, but you are going to start to bend it now. Dip the chin and round a little forward like you're rounding that wire coat hanger. So it's the whole spine gets round. Yes. And I'm wanting you to feel a stretch kind of open up along your spine. Should feel gentle. Should feel good. And if it doesn't feel like much of anything, that's completely okay. You can just kind of trust that the work is happening deep inside your body and breathe in to support where you want that sensation. Really nice. Go ahead and ease yourself up. And then your choice. We could do this again, or we can take the legs out into a straddle now. So it's going to be similar but different. In our straddle, I want you to go with a little bit of width. Yeah, not too much, but a little wider than the hips. And then same exact thing, we're going to flat back forward. So we'll all start with our tallest posture, lift that posture, and then take a flat back. Good. Now, especially if you are someone who has a decent amount of mobility here, what you're going to want to watch for the rounding isn't going to be your upper back and neck, but actually your low back right where it meets the pelvis. So I'm going to pick on Lessa a little bit. Can you arch your back very slightly? Yeah, girl, that's where we want to be there. As long as that feels strong and stable for you, that is going to be a really beautiful place, and you'll feel more lifted through your front. Abdominals turn on, super supportive. So let's all try that a couple more times. I think Kelly could use the same idea of you're almost going to feel like you're in a back bend if you have quite a bit of flexibility here. Yes, good. Watch that chin, Miss Kelly. Thank you. Let's all do that one more time. You'll go forward. And then it's that wire coat hanger idea with the flat back. You're going to just dip the chin, start to round, pull that strong spine forward, and should just open up along your back. Okay. Really nice, everyone. Go ahead and walk yourself back up. And then go ahead and scoot to the front of your mat, balance in a little ball. And your choice, you can either just hold your rolling like a ball position, or you can do some little baby rocks, or do a full roll back to the shoulders and up to the booty, whatever's going to feel good for you. Nice, everyone, looks good. I'll do that about 3 or 4 more times. Nice. Well, I'll meet in a balance once again. Check in with your wire coat hanger sensation in your spine. Yeah, nice. It's all strong and stable. Okay. And then take yourself to lying down on your back, just in whatever way it's comfortable for you to get there. Take another stretch like we did at the beginning of class, just see if you notice any difference from when we first started about 15 minutes ago. Might feel a little longer, easier to access that stretch. Hips might feel a bit loosened up. Really nice. We're going to all leave the head down for this next one. Arms come by your side. You're going to bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little squeeze to begin so you can find that compression. And then arms can return to your side. You're going to press the right leg out away from you. And then switch it with the left. It's like a little piston motion. And I'll invite you today to take whatever speed you would like. So it could be very slow and controlled, or it could be switch, 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 switch. But whatever you choose, I want to see your muscles, not your joints. What that means is there's not going to be a lockout at the end range. It's going to be almost like that's why I like that piston energy. If you picture a piston, it doesn't really jerk. It's got this kind of like vroom, vroom sort of cushion almost to it that your muscles are going to provide for your joints. That's the right idea, you guys. So no matter how fast you go, I want you to feel that sort of soft landing in the strength of your own muscles. Last 3, 2, 1. You can bring both knees in and take a little rest. Nice, everybody. Really good job. And then go ahead, bring both arms by your side again. And it's really the same idea. We're going to press both legs out and in now. Heels will stay touching, toes apart. And you could go quite slowly or you could go quite quickly, but we're landing in this cushion of muscle the whole time. Good. And really just getting acquainted with what does that feel like in your body. For me, that's my metaphor for it, is it feels like my feet are landing on a cushion rather than locking out into something hard. But you could also feel like maybe it feels like your legs don't straighten quite all the way. They stop like 3% before they get to the very end. It might feel like effort in the thighs. And it might feel like you have to go slower. Like there's no way you can go as fast as you normally would. So just kind of noticing, what does this mean for you? And this is challenging. So take breaks as you need to, or do it with one leg. I'm seeing some one leg versions. I love that. We're going to do this for about 15 more seconds. So we're going for a little duration. We're going for a little challenge. The lower you go, the harder this will be to do with integrity in your stomach. So take that as a word of caution to aim high when in doubt. You might find you need to aim higher as the exercise goes on because you're probably going to get a little tired. Let's do 10 more seconds here. Looks great, everyone. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then hug your knees. Good. Get that little compression in the front of your hips. Notice if that feels a little different than the beginning of class. Beautiful. And then just stretch out long for me one more time. Legs long, arms long. Reach everything away. Beautiful. Ah, gorgeous. Blessed, those knees are looking less grumpy already. We'll take it. Give your knees a little squeeze now. And just come back to your compression. 2 legs go straight up to the ceiling. Arms are going to press down by your side. And right away, I want you to anchor your tailbone. Might mean the legs have to be a little lower. Yes, Melinda, than you would think. Really beautiful. So this is home base. Stay here, flex and point your feet. Kind of let your body get used to this orientation and gravity. And just holding this, it should be a little bit of work. You should feel like the abs have a little quiver already. There's not just like a total camping position. Unless you have a lot of flexibility. If this is no flexibility effort for you to hold here, this might feel pretty relaxing. Nice. So we're all going to flex the feet now and hold. Keep the, let's see. Yes. Okay. This is what we want to do. We're going to keep the right leg exactly where it is. The left leg is going to drop away towards the floor slowly. Straight leg. Yeah, you're going to feel it gets harder the lower it gets down there. And then you're going to scoop your low abs, pick the leg back up. And it will happen in that order. It's going to be abs, leg. And then you'll switch the opposite, lower it down, feel the abs turn on, and that's what picks your leg up. So very often I feel like we try to do those two things simultaneously, which often results in the abs lagging behind, which often results in an over recruitment of our hip flexors. So if you can really get the abs to activate first and then lift the leg from that place, you're going to be setting yourself up for a more sustainable movement pattern. And if that feels hard to feel right away, it's totally okay. This is a really new idea for a lot of us. So it might take a minute for you to feel it travel from the hip flexors into the abs. Might even not happen today, but it's a really good place to start. And just like before, we're going to kind of do this in a durational way so that you can get acquainted with what this feels like. I'm also loving, I'm seeing some people bend their knees to help ease off their hip flexors. That's a good strategy. And of course, you can take breaks as needed, always. Good. We're going to go for 10 more seconds. Breathe. See if there's almost a way you can use the lowering of that bottom leg to stretch your hip flexor out, little relief inside the exercise. Last one here, wherever you are, you're going to bring your knees in and give them a nice squeeze. We're going to release the hip flexor with this squeeze. So the hip flexors are interesting. Stretching them doesn't really help them relax. You can think of stretching the hip flexors like stretching out a hammock, right? It just pulls it taut. Here, if we want to relax the hip flexors, just like a hammock, we're going to fold them up into two. So that's why this compression feels so nice. This is the best way to get that quick hip flexor relief. A little counterintuitive. Nice, everyone. So we're going to go for that same idea again. And I'm going to give you a couple options. If you're feeling like, oh God, hip flexors are just really talking to me, I don't really want to do that again. What I'll have you do is plant both feet on the floor and just do tabletop lifts, right? So we'll lift one bent leg off the floor and then back down, and then the other leg off the floor and then back down. You could also do the exercise just again, or if you want something harder, you could try lowering and lifting both legs. So we have a lot of options on the table. I'm just going to time you for 1 minute and you can play in whatever sandbox sounds good to you. So off you go, 1 minute to explore connecting the abs to the legs. And I'll say the options again. It could be a tabletop lift, which is just one leg lifting at a time. The leg will stay bent and just come up and down from the floor. The other option is to repeat the exercise we just did, one leg lowers at a time, trying to plug in the abs to lift the leg. And then the more advanced option is 2 legs. And you still want to feel, you lower 2 legs, you leave them there for a second, abs turn on, both legs lift up. So it's a 1, 2. They're not going to happen at the same time. Just 20 more seconds, everyone. You're doing great work. Take breaks when needed. Absolutely no worries. Just keep breathing through. Last 5, 4, 3, 2. Yes, Kelly. 1, and then hug your knees. Oh my gosh. You might be sore tomorrow. You might feel that one a little bit. But as you hug your knees now, I want you to breathe into your low back. That area should feel really, really open from all that warmth and work in the abs. Really nicely done. Let's stretch out those hip flexors right away. So we're going to roll onto the stomach, give them a little of the opposite. So you'll just roll to your belly. And you know how I said stretching the hip flexors doesn't really help? It's not entirely true. Passively stretching the hip flexors is not really that helpful. We're going to do an active stretch. So you're going to be up on your forearms. You could put fists together, or you could just have the arms in kind of a triangle. We really just want to focus on the legs today. And you're going to lengthen your legs a lot. You might even want to wiggle your toes back behind you so you feel more space in your low back. Really good. So keeping here, you could do this in a flat back as well if back bending doesn't agree with you, but you're going to lengthen the right leg as long as it can go. And then you're going to lift it just a whisper off the mat. I won't even be able to see it, but you'll just know it's lifted a little. Now listen carefully. You're going to keep that little bit of lift. Pull your heel to your booty. Oof, should feel like a big stretch and hard work in the hamstring. Lay that leg back down and relax it. We'll lift the opposite leg. So it's going to lengthen, it's going to float, and then it's going to bend and pull heel in. Good. Now, if you get knee pain here as the heel moves towards the booty, I just don't want you to go as far. You might only do the little leg lift, straight leg up and down. That is still amazing. And you might just bend it a little bit. I had a little knee thing when I was an apprentice, and I did this exercise just like 3 inches. I would kind of just think about bending my knee. And then it would release, but I still got stretch in the front of my leg. I still got hamstring activation. So you're still getting all the benefits, even if you're just making this teeny tiny. And if you feel like your knee is stretching and it's not ouchy, that's okay. As long as it doesn't feel intense or painful, it's okay if you have sensation that kind of threads through the knee. That's all those attachments from the thighs waking up and lengthening, but you don't want it to feel painful. And then to lift the back of your head just to, yeah, perfect. You did it right as I said it. You read my mind. We're going to do this one more time on each side. You guys, really beautiful work. Gentle in the body, pull the abs up and in. And then your choice, either lie flat or sit back on your heels and give yourself a nice stretch. Take some breaths. Good. Wherever you are, you might want to wag your hips a little side to side. And let everything totally relax. Really beautiful. Take a couple deep breaths here. Just letting everything reset. This is another way you can get that kind of hammock fold compression in the front of the hip flexors. This is a really nice place to be if you know you're tight in that area. Really good job, everyone. Okay, and then let's come on to all fours, hands and knees, and take a couple cat cows, your own version of cat cows, and just kind of consider everything we've done so far in class. So we've talked a little bit about the hip sockets. You might notice as you arch and round kind of how the femur bones glide in the hip. Yeah, that might be an interesting place for you to focus. We've also talked a little bit about the upper body, the neck and shoulder alignment. So when you lift your head to arch, I want you to find that same sort of thread through like steel of the wire hanger bent. We're kind of just bending it the opposite way now. Yeah, exactly, Kelly, that looks gorgeous. But you're gonna feel that effect of being supported through this equally round shape in the same way that you did before. Nice, everyone. I'm seeing some people take a little intuitive movement here. I love that. You know, you're always welcome to add a little extra motion in the head and the hips, whatever feels best for you. I'll be here about 10 more seconds. Good. So option to keep this going for those of you who want a super restorative practice today. If you're looking for a little more heat, I want you to tuck your toes under, round your spine, drop your head, and lift your knees up just a little bit. And I want you to hold this position. Now you're going to imagine you're squeezing a yoga block or a book between your upper inner thighs. So there's energy and connection here. Now, if you want extra challenge and everything is feeling good, you can keep this, shift your weight a little back into the feet, and then spring a little forward into the palms. You're keeping your torso pretty much parallel to the floor the whole time. So if you feel a big booty lift or you feel your shoulders drop, you've gone too far. I like to think crouch, pounce, crouch, pounce. And this is tiring. So take breaks as needed. I also see a couple people choosing to do this, but with their knees still on the floor. I love that. We're going to be here for 10 more seconds. You guys are doing great, looking so strong. 3, 2, I want you to come out of it carefully and gently and either sit back on your heels or come into a little downward facing dog if you want to stay active. And in Pilates, we call this more like an elephant position. But down dog, I know we all kind of know the name of that. So I'll say both interchangeably. But if I say down dog, I mean elephant. And if I say elephant, I mean down dog. Deep breaths wherever you are. And kind of thinking about keeping the upper body strong. If you're feeling the craving for a little more intensity today, you could do some little inverted push-ups here, little elbow bend, little elbow straighten. I almost want you to use this just to traction your spine. So the head stays down. I want you to keep weight back in your feet as much as possible. And you just bend, yeah, Melinda, and straighten. That looks good. So it's kind of like going straight up and down. 3, 2, 1. Good. If you're in your elephant, I want you to walk your feet towards your hands and find a forward fold. If you're in child's pose, you can meet us in a forward fold in your own way. Make sure knees are softly bent, even if you can have them straight. When we straighten our legs in that way, unless we're really thinking about it carefully, it kind of turns off our muscles and we lose our ability to support. We kind of hang in our joints. So we want to keep our muscles on, and that little knee bend is going to help us do that. Super duper slow spinal roll up. So how slow can you go? Let's make it a contest. Last one to roll up gets a gold star. Nice, deep breaths, abs are scooped. You can feel as you start to roll up where those muscles of the bent legs kick in. That's super important. And this is a really interesting study in where are you working and where are you relaxing. Both have to happen to execute this movement. Very nicely done. When you've come to the top, take your time, just stretch your arms up. Take that stretch from the beginning of class down, but just straight up to the ceiling, go, huge reach. Beautiful. Let the arms come down. Let's make some circles. The arms go down, around, and up. 1, down, around, and up. 2. Nice. Feel the strong, stable spine to allow the arms to be loose and free. We'll do 5 circles each direction. And then you can reverse. Really good job. Okay, go ahead and step your feet a little on the wide side. And then depending on how you're feeling today, you could take arms up, you could take hands on the shoulders, or you could take hands on the hips, just kind of whatever instinctively feels good. You're gonna take a big breath in, get really tall here in the center, kind of press your legs away so they're active. Exhale, side bend to the right. Nice. Inhale, lift through the waist to come up. Exhale, side bend to the left. Opening everything up, legs still pressing strong. So you're just gonna go back and forth several times. And if this feels ouchy to stand in this way, or you want more support, you can sit in a chair and take side bends. That works great as well. Nice, everyone. When you're even between your two sides, we're gonna do a little twisting. So if you're not twisting today, no worries. You're just gonna keep side bending. If you are twisting, let's all have arms either on the shoulders or up. Good. And so I'll show what it's like with the arms up first. You're gonna send the left hand back, right arm forward. You'll open your body to the side wall. If you've got hands on the shoulders, it's just a little twist to the side wall. And we'll all come back to center. Arms lift up, reset, and go the other way. Nice. So as you do this several more times, I'm just going to give you some things to focus on. First is your legs and pelvis. This is really a twist for the upper body only. So if you feel that your pelvis is getting drug along, kind of torquing as you twist, then you're going a little bit too far. So I'll encourage you to keep this fairly small. We don't actually have anatomically that much twisting ability in the spine, right? So when we go for a really big twist, the body does the natural smart thing, which is sort of outsources it to the much more mobile pelvis and femur bones. So if we twist too far, no matter how much we try to pull ourselves together, we're going to twist with the rest of our body. It's just the way that we're built. So keeping the twist small is a really good way to make sure you stay in your stable center. Let's all do about 1 more each side until you're even. Good, and then we're gonna stay in this position with the legs wide. I might even encourage you to all take your legs just a little bit wider, and we'll all find parallel. So the toes are lined up with the heels, not pointing out, not pointing in, right in line. Good. So if you've ever done Pilates on a reformer, we're gonna do the side splits, and you can use your knowledge of that exercise to inform the sensations here. If you haven't done it, no worries. I'm gonna talk you through how you want this to feel. Let's all put hands on hips. It's a nice strong position. You are not going to move for this whole exercise. We're just going to change our energy, okay? So you're going to send energy now out and down through the pinky toes. You're going to push like crazy, like you could split your mat in half. You're going to feel muscles turn on all the way up your leg. Really push, push, push. And if you're having a hard time feeling that push, step the legs a little wider. That's going to be helpful to you. Now we're going to stay here. Nothing changes, but you're going to reverse the energy through the big toes. Energy sucks in and up. So if we picture the triangle of our legs, right, before we were sending it down into the corners, now we're sending it back up into the point, right into our pelvis. Feel like you could squeeze the mat together, have it bubble up in the middle. And then again, we press out. So now we're sending from the point to the corners, energy down and out. You should feel muscles working quite hard as you push, 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 push. And then we reverse it. We squeeze up and in, send energy through the big toes up into the point of our triangle, the pelvis. Nice, everyone. One more each time on your own. Remembering to not lock out the knees here. They can be a little soft. It'll help you stay in your muscles. Push, push, push. And then one more time, you're going to zip in and up into the point. 3, 2, 1. Very good. Either step or jump your legs together. And you can come to sitting down. We're going to end class with a little self-massage and some stretching. Good. So let's return to our butterfly for a moment. And I just want you to feel how different this is than it was before. So you might find that naturally your legs set up a little closer to you. And we're just going to bounce our butterfly. You can just notice your breathing here. Notice how everything feels. Really good. And then let that settle out. Take a big breath in. And then flat back forward. Good. And for this to be extra restorative, something that you might like if you have them available, this just occurred to me in the way I'm seeing some people want to fidget around. You might like to put cushions or blankets underneath your knees to have some support. It can feel really good to just be kind of like propped, even if you don't need it for flexibility reasons. It helps the hips relax more fully, which means you're going to get a more satisfying stretch. So if you want to make that adjustment, go ahead and prop the knees. Otherwise, you can just keep playing with your forward fold a couple more times, going a little into it with a flat back and out of it with a flat back. Nice. And then you could try going into your flat back and holding with strength and then dropping the head, rounding. Nice, everyone. That looks great. Might just notice. Sometimes I'm always interested in this idea of like we expect to feel looser, but sometimes progress in our body doesn't feel quite that clear cut. Sometimes it just feels like the sensation has moved. It's like, oh, when I did this stretch before, I felt it in my neck and now I feel it in my low back. So we're looking for, of course, an improvement in feeling loose and feeling good, but we're also really happy to just kind of mobilize something that feels stuck. If there was tension stuck in your neck, moving that tension down, starting to move it out through the system, feeling it in a new place is a huge win. Really nice, everyone. We're going to come on up to sitting. And if you're really comfortable and happy in this butterfly position, I know this position agrees with several of you, you can just hang out here. If not, you can just sit in whatever way you are most comfortable. You could even be in a chair if that's your favorite kind of way to sit, if you don't love sitting on the floor. We're just going to end with our self-massage. Let's start with the face. So we're going to take to the eyebrows, inner corners of the eyebrows get kind of spread out. And just some deep breaths. And I know it can feel a little funny, but I always encourage you to make a little bit of noise, a little, if your body wants to let out a sigh, that can be super, super healing. Nice. Then we're going to just start to take that up. So now we're doing the same motion, but just above the eyebrows. And each time we're going to go a little bit higher. Like we're just kind of spreading the two halves of the forehead apart. Really gentle. It should feel quite lovely. All our self-massage should feel very good. Just touching yourself in the way that you would like to be touched. On your last one, you're going to drag the hands down to the temples, make some little circles on the temples. Reverse. Nice. And then sort of making a U shape from the inner corners of the nose up back to the temples. And you could trace this both directions. I personally like to mostly just trace it from the inner corner of the nose out. I feel like that's more clearing for me, but you can see what you prefer, just giving the sinuses a little brush. I know it's allergy season for many of us, myself included, not a fun time of year. And this is something I find incredibly helpful for allergies. It's actually something I think I've had 4 or 5 clients tell me at this point. They're like, Pilates is the best thing for my allergies. Like I can breathe so much better after class. Nice. Then on the last one at the temples, we're just going to draw down the face into the jaw. And this is the one where it looks kind of funny, but I want you to make sure your mouth is open a little. And then you'll circle on the jaw with your mouth slightly open. And this can feel very tight, so don't press too hard. Good, and then we're gonna take our fingertips to our chin. We're gonna just brush down the throat. So I'm not really pressing here, I'm just kind of giving the skin a little wash all the way down to the chest. It's kind of helping the feeling of draining out anything that's stuck or needs to move. Nice. And then we'll come to the ears. I'm just going to do one ear, move my headphones. You start at the top of the ear and just pinch down, but you can do both ears at one time. Yeah. Good. Just giving a little squeeze. And I find that my ears, they like quite a bit of pressure. They can take a pretty strong squeeze. So you can see what feels true for you. It's funny, they seem like this delicate little part of the body, but they're all just cartilage. So it can take a lot of pressure. There's not too much sensitivity in there. Good. And then just take your hands to your earlobes and give a little pinch and a little pull. Kind of drag the earlobes down like 3 or 4 times. I like to picture those gorgeous ears on like bloodhounds. Give yourself some nice little bloodhound ears. Really good. And then for our last thing, we're just going to take the hands to the back of the neck. And I like to just kind of drum the fingers and press it, sort of like you would press piano keys, and just kind of give some little pressure points. We're never going to go directly on the spine, but you can snuggle right up next to it if you want. Just kind of notice, yeah, what's going on there. I'm seeing people start to bring in a lot of intuitive movement with their head and neck. That's awesome. Can make it easier for you to reach a certain spot or stretch your muscles in a certain way. This could come down even onto the place where the neck and shoulder connect. Oof, always a little tight. And we'll just do this for 10 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just let your posture grow taller. Let your hands rest down. Let's end class with 3 deep breaths together. So we're going to empty ourselves of air. Inhale in through the nose. Hold the breath for a moment and then go out through the mouth. We're going to do that again. We'll inhale together in through the nose, fill the lungs. Little hold at the top. Exhale out through the mouth. We're going to do that one more time, a little different. Listen carefully. Inhale through the nose. Hold the breath at the top. Exhale through the nose for 5, 4, 3, 2, empty on 1. And that is it for today. You are all done.